All right, we're about to go on a bit of a treasure hunt. We're going to dig into an ancient text to uncover how one tiny, super easy to miss name change actually unlocks a story of epic proportions, one that's been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years.
So let's start with a question for you. Because as we're about to find out, sometimes the biggest, most world-altering stories are tucked away in the smallest details, just waiting for someone to notice.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're going deep into the Old Testament, into the book of Numbers. Right before this huge make-or-break spy mission into the Promised Land, the leader, Moses, does something kind of strange. He pulls his top general aside and just changes his name.
Now look, this wasn't him just coming up with a cool new nickname for his buddy. In the ancient world, and especially in the Bible, names are a huge deal. They're about identity, purpose, even destiny. This was a deliberate, loaded statement. You can think of it like an ancient Easter egg, a hidden clue that signals a massive change in the entire story.
So if we're going to crack this code, we have to get into what these names actually mean. Let's break down the original name and its really powerful replacement. So first up, the original name, Hoshea. It's a perfectly good name, and it comes from the Hebrew word for to save. So it points to the idea of salvation, this general concept of being rescued. And it kind of suggests a rescue that could maybe be done by a person. It's a human possibility.
But this is where Moses does something absolutely brilliant. He takes the name Hoshea and he adds a little prefix to the beginning, Yah, which is a short form of God's personal name, Yahweh. And just like that, the name is transformed into Yehoshua. This totally flips the meaning. It's not a general idea anymore, it's a divine declaration. The Lord saves.
And you can see the difference right here, side by side. It's a total game changer. We go from Hoshea, salvation, which is this human-centered possibility, to Yahshua, the Lord saves, a God-centered absolute certainty. The whole source of the rescue has been redefined. It's not just a hope anymore, now it's a divine promise.
You know, what's amazing is that this little name change isn't just about one guy. It's a perfect picture of one of the biggest ideas in the entire Bible. The shift between two major covenants, or agreements, that shape the relationship between God and people.
And here's the real kicker. These two names line up perfectly with two completely different ways of thinking about salvation. The Yeshua way, which represents the Old Covenant, is basically salvation is possible if you obey perfectly. It's all based on human performance. But the Yehoshua way points to something new. It presents salvation as a divine accomplishment, a gift from God, guaranteed by God. It's not on you, it's on Him.
And if you want a powerful example of this Hoshea problem, well, you just have to look at a later prophet who, get this, had the exact same name, Hosea. His whole life was turned into a metaphor. He was told to marry a woman who would be unfaithful to him as a living picture of Israel's unfaithfulness to God. His story just screams the main point. Trying to save yourself through your own effort is just doomed to fail.
Okay, so if the name Hoshea represents the problem, this tragedy of human failure, then the new name, Yehoshua, points straight to the solution. And this, my friends, is where our little Easter egg hunt really pays off.
Okay, you ready for this? This is the moment the whole thing clicks into place. Over the centuries, that Hebrew name, Yehoshua, got shortened a bit, becoming Yeshua. And when that name, Yeshua, was translated into Greek for the New Testament, it became Isus, which in English is Jesus. That's right. The general who led Israel into the Promised Land, Joshua, has the exact same name as Jesus. And what this does is it paints this incredible three-act story that plays out across the Bible. Act 1, you've got Moses. He represents the law, the Old Covenant. He gets the people to the edge of the Promised Land, but he himself can't enter. Act 2, here comes Joshua, Yahushua. He's the transition. He's the one who actually leads them into that physical rest. And then Act 3, you have Jesus, Yeshua, the final fulfillment, the one who brings all people into an ultimate eternal rest. And that hidden meaning, the one that was planted way back in the book of Numbers when Moses renamed his general, it just explodes into full view in this famous verse from the New Testament. The name is the mission. It's not just salvation as a vague concept, it's the Lord saves as a person taking decisive action. So let's just zoom out for a second and bring it all home. What does this one name change, this little detail buried in an ancient book, really tell us about the whole story? It pretty much tells us everything. The entire biblical story pivots on this exact idea. It's the move away from a human-centered possibility, this thought that maybe we can save ourselves if we're good enough, to a God-centered, rock-solid certainty, the declaration that God himself is our salvation.
So knowing this totally changes things, right? A seemingly boring, administrative detail suddenly becomes this incredible predictive key that unlocks the central message of the whole Bible. It shows us that profound truth can be hidden anywhere, and it kind of leaves you wondering, what other secrets are just sitting there, waiting to be found?